Now there's nothing more frustrating than being in deer season and going out to your stand and not having any deer encounters, especially if you're doing that over and over and over again. It can get really discouraging. Now over the years I've learned a few techniques that have really improved my deer season. Almost every deer season I have a lot of encounters throughout the season, which makes for a more enjoyable hunt. It makes the sit a whole lot easier. Even if you aren't tagging during the time that you're out there, just to have the presence of deer coming in and going out from underneath your tree stand or out in front of your blind or in your food plot is that much more fun, and it makes the sit that much easier. Now the first tip I'm going to give you is the biggest tip and probably the most important, and I probably overpreach it a little bit, but I really do believe in it, and that's to be adaptable and be flexible during deer season. Now that means during deer season, whether it be at the beginning, the middle, or the end, that if you need to move stands, you move stands. If you need to move your blinds, you move blinds. You've got to be adaptable because the deer are not on the same patterns all year long, so you have to change patterns with them. It might be moving a stand 30 yards. It might be changing and going to a different food source. Now early season when the acorns are dropping, they're going to be hitting on those acorns. It might be an over-pressured area that just doesn't have a lot of food and you've got to hunt over bait, then you've got to hunt over bait. It might be a seasonal crop in the area that's coming into maturity and the deer are really hitting on it, or it's just gotten harvest and the deer are hitting on the harvest field, or it might change their patterns where they're leaving that field and going to another food source. So you have to be diligent and make sure that you're watching for these changes and adapt to them when they happen. Now one of the easiest ways to monitor all these changes is with trail cameras. I check trail cameras all year long, all the time. I am always taking them down and moving them, especially like I said, as the seasons change. My camera locations change. When they're hitting on the acorns, they're going to be somewhere close in those proximity of those oak trees to see when they're going to start hitting on them. As the rut starts kicking in, I'm going to be putting my cameras more over those travel corridors, those pinch points, those areas that the bucks like to frequent. Pre-rut, post-rut, I'm putting them over scrapes. Even keeping your cameras over food sources year-round is a guarantee to make sure that you're getting a lot of pictures. And in late season, I'm keying in on those food sources, and that's where my cameras are going to be. There's a lot of hunters out there that just get complacent and they have that one stand location or those few stand locations, and in their mind they've already got their stand hung. There's no need to move it. They're going to go back to that stand over and over and over, whether they're seeing deer or not, and in their mind that's their only spot that they have to go. Whereas moving that stand maybe 30 yards, 40 yards, 100 yards, and put you inside or hopefully in range of deer in that area. Now I understand if you have small property, there's not a lot of options, but there are usually always options. It might be deer coming in and they're busting you in the tree stand and you can't move because you've got a extremely small property. Maybe it's time to take down that tree stand, put up a blind, brush it in, change it up, and see if that works. If you have larger property, you have more options. You can move your stand from one area to the next and see if the deer encounters increase. That's my biggest strategy going into every hunting season, is to be adaptable and be ready to change. Be moving trail cameras, tree stands, blinds. If I have the option to move properties and I need to move properties to get the pressure off of one property for a little bit, I will do that. But I'm always looking to try to find that better spot, that better opportunity, instead of just being complacent with what I already have. So this deer season, keep your eyes open, your cameras up, and look for those changes and adapt to them as they come.